Oh my God, it's so daunting, 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm here to tell you that it gets better. So I think I first figured out that I was gay when I was 15 years old. Now, that was a really long time ago. That was before Stonewall. Now, I don't know how many of you know what Stonewall was, but in late June 1969, on the day that, that Judy Garland died, there was a bar in New York, the Stonewall Bar, in which all these drag queens came dressed as Judy Garland. And in those days, I know this is hard to realize, but in those days it was illegal to appear in for a man to appear in public dressed as a woman. They called it cross-dressing. It was totally illegal. And the bar was raided. And these drag queens fought back, and it ended up being a huge riot that lasted for 3 days. And that's why we talk about Stonewall as the beginning of gay liberation. It's this really turning point in history. In late 1969, I graduated from college in early 1969. And so I totally knew I was gay before Stonewall. So I want to tell you a little bit about what it was like before. I want to give you a before and an after story. So I think the first time I had any realization about gay things, I remember this so vividly. I was 15 years old. I went with my parents to a movie, Advise and Consent. Is there anyone here who has seen this movie? Nobody. Oh, a couple people. So this is a movie about Washington politics, and it's all about the Senate approval of a nomination for Secretary of State, and there's all this intrigue going on. And one of the main characters is this young up-and-coming senator. I'm there with my parents. I'm 15 years old. I really don't know what's going on in this movie, and he's being blackmailed for something. Now, of course, I realize now he was being blackmailed because he had some gay incident in his past. But I had no idea what that was all about. I didn't know what this was. And I remember there's a scene, there's a letter from someone named Ray, and he goes to New York, and he goes to Greenwich Village, and it's raining, and he's going into this bar, and you have to walk downstairs. And I remember he walked downstairs, and it's really smoky, and it's full of men wearing vicuna sweaters. Now, most of you are lucky enough not even to know what that is, but it's a kind of this fluffy sweater, which was the gay uniform in 1962. And he goes down into this, and they're all men, and he sees his friend Ray, and he's horrified, and he runs out into the rain, and Ray follows him. And I said to my mother, what is going on in this movie? And he said, oh, they're sissies. My mother said, they're sissies. So that was what it was to be gay. Oh no, halfway. Okay, that's what it was to be gay in 1962. That, you know, we were called sissies, we were called fags, we were called queers, we were called fairies. And queers, I mean, today queer is like a positive term, but in 1962, believe me, it wasn't. So now, sweep forward to when I come to graduate school in Los Angeles. It's 1969, after Stonewall, but still, the revolution hasn't really caught on. In those days, when you went to a gay bar, the entrance to the bar was through the back alley, so no one would ever see you entering a gay bar. You know, your Aunt Matilda couldn't drive by, or your colleagues. I was doing graduate work in modern Hebrew literature. I was beginning a career in Jewish education. I was absolutely positive that if anyone knew that I was gay, my career would have been over, and I think it would have been over in 1969 or 1970. And so I taught Hebrew high school, and I had all these students. And I was terrified that anyone would know that I was gay. In fact, I had this little fantasy. The fantasy was, I mean, I didn't want to be gay. I thought it was terrible to be gay. I thought it would ruin my life, you know. Oh, I forgot to say that in the movie Advise and Consent, this poor senator ends up committing suicide because he can't deal with the scandal, right? So, I used to fantasize that there would be a pill. And this pill, I could take this pill and it would make me normal. I even used that term, normal, okay? So it was so painful. Now I want to sweep forward. I mean, by now everybody knows, it's not a secret. And when I was, one year, when I was still in graduate school at UCLA, and this is when I was still in the closet, one of my teachers, one of my students came up to me, and he was a student at UCLA. I used to have coffee with him every once in a while. Then one night he calls me at midnight. I've never talked on the phone with him. It turns out that he's gay, that I did a workshop at a gay academic union conference, that his roommate was in my workshop. He had been trying for 6 months to figure out how to call me and talk to me about being gay, about being Jewish, and all of those things. He had no one to talk to. And that's why it's so important for gay people to be positive role models. And I'll tell you something. I think that for me, the reason why I'm a teacher, the reason why I've had generations of students, I have students that I taught as teenagers that are still in touch with me. They're in their 50s or 40s. Part of it is because I don't have a family because I'm gay, that I think that that's the way I build family. And you know something? If you gave me this pill today, I totally wouldn't take it, because being gay is so totally a part of who I am and how my values are and what I value in life, that I absolutely wouldn't take such a pill. And so I'm here to tell you that it gets better. Thank you.